Hey, Baylor fans, this is your call to gear up with Harley-Davidson of Waco. Whether you're hitting the open road or tailgating at McLean Stadium, we've got the ride to match your Bear pride. Check out our wide selection of new and pre-owned motorcycles, visit our service department, or shop all the latest gear and accessories to show off your Baylor spirit and Harley pride. Visit us today and find your freedom on two wheels. Harley-Davidson of Waco, where Baylor fans never ride alone. Visit in-store or at hdwaco.com. Sic Em Bears.
Hi, everybody. Welcome into the Sic Em Podcast presented by Harley-Davidson of Waco, HD Waco. We love HD Waco. We're in the 1845 studios here at McLean Stadium. Our guest this week, a new member of Coach Dave Aranda's staff, Jeremy Modkins, going to coach cornerbacks for Baylor. And welcome to Baylor. I'm going to say welcome home. Welcome back to Central Texas. You're a Marlin High School graduate.
Yes, sir. And thank you for having me. Thank you to the Baylor administration, Coach Aranda and Coach Clanderman for having me. Definitely a blessing to be able to come back home and, come back to where it all started.
Yeah, exactly. Does it feel like kind of a homecoming for you?
It does.
Right.
It does. Growing up, 20 minutes away in Marlin, right. You grow up as Baylor as your home team.
Yeah.
And so to actually be here, and I was actually offered by Baylor in high school. I just didn't make that decision, but now it comes full circle. I feel like it was just kind of meant to be.
Nice. So, very good. Just took a little longer for you to get here.
It just took a little longer. Matter of fact, this probably be the third time.
Right, exactly.
The third time.
Well, it's always a good choice to come to Baylor, no matter how long it takes you to get here. You went to TCU out of high school, had a great playing career there, and then coaching career there.
Yes, sir.
You had a really good experience, didn't you, at TCU?
Yes, sir, I did. And my brother, he kind of laid the foundation for me as far as giving me kind of a roadmap, and he went to TCU in the 80s, 80, 89, 86.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, it makes me feel old now.
How about me?
But I was knee high, following him around, running around, to school practices, going into some of his classes with him. So I kind of had an idea when I was younger on, the avenue that I wanted to go. And so as soon as TCU kind of offered me, I knew where I wanted to go. So, but that was a blessing in disguise, knowing that didn't know I would meet Coach Patterson, being his first year. In 01, and so to see his first year, to come see where he's at now has been unbelievable. Yeah. But to have him as a relationship and a mentor to me from when I was playing to now my coaching career has been great.
Curtis was your brother.
Yes.
And he was older, 10 or 11 years older?
Yes, sir.
You?
So he was my older brother. Yeah. So I was just clinging on to him the best I could to try to mimic and do whatever he did.
Right.
So
playing for, can I tell you, I remember you guys playing at Marlin.
Mm-hmm.
That's the old 17-3A, isn't it? District
17-3A. Yep.
I know it's changed a lot.
A lot
through the
changes,
years,
a lot.
but I still think back about that district and how good Marlin was and how good those teams were.
Yeah, we played some really good players. La Vega. I don't know if you remember Kinsey, Mario now.
Yes,
and Tweedy, the receiver that they had back in the day that they threw for all those yards. Conley, and they had the Demerson twins back in the day.
That's right.
Gatesville, who had Henderson.
That's right, Torrent Henderson.
Yeah, Torrent Henderson. We played China Spring. You had Bell. And, you had some guys.
That's
coming
what I'm
up,
saying.
And that was really good.
Yeah, district. And it has changed a lot, and schools have grown. But I remember that 17-3A because it was so good.
That was really good district.
Yeah, good. Launching spot for you from high school, your time there on to TCU and beyond that?
Yes, sir. And I think that prepared me for TCU and kind of beyond that as well, just with the relationships that you build, the work ethic that you have to create to get out of Marlin and even compete in that type of league. Because back then, we played offense, defense, you kind of did it all.
Right.
And you had to. Right. But nowadays, it's not as, guys don't play both ways like that, especially. There's a lot of small towns still do, but majority of the schools don't.
That's true. Yeah.
But it was a great launching pad for me.
Right. Go to TCU, great career there, cornerback the whole way, or did you move around?
I played safety, so I went to TCU as a safety.
Okay.
And I pretty much played all safety, all of the three safety positions. So really kind of understood the schematics of defense, and that kind of where it kind of created a learning culture for me.
Yeah.
Especially being with Coach Patterson, just kind of a defensive mastermind behind schematics and coverage and stuff. And so in that scheme, you have to be the quarterback of the defense. And so that was kind of the path that I followed and led me into coaching and done it that way. So.
Yeah. So, and now you're coaching cornerbacks,
Yes, sir.
and you played the position and you learned under Gary Patterson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a deep background of knowledge of the position that you now have here.
Yes, sir. And having done it over the years, you know, you experience a lot of different ways to do things.
Yeah.
And I think that's also has helped me when you're trying to teach a kid, you know, to do something. Well, sometimes that might not work for the kid. Yeah. So you just have to find different ways to do things. And so, especially at the corner position, because that's one position you don't get saved. You know, everybody else gets saved outside the corner. You know, so you got to be very technical, sound, and efficient, and you got to have a competitive nature and an edge about you. And most importantly, they just can't catch the ball.
Yeah, that's right.
You know?
I think of cornerbacks sometimes as sprinters, like 100-meter sprinters, because it's all you, man. I mean, there's so much that's riding on a cornerback making a play or not making a play, and you got teammates that are out there, but it's a lot on you, on the cornerback.
Oh, yes, sir. You do not get saved, and that's one of the things that I do look for. It's guys that can run.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, at our position, you got to be able to run and cover all day.
Yeah.
You know, and that is the expectation.
Oh, speed is huge, isn't it?
Speed is a non-negotiable.
Right, right.
Yeah.
You had played at TCU
Yes,
and
sir.
then grad assistant there, and then coached at TCU.
Yes, sir.
Most recently at Rice, the last couple of years, 3 years at Rice, but TCU before that. You coached some really good guys. I mean, I
Yes,
remember Jeff Gladney, really good there, and who else? Trey
Tomlinson. Yeah, and Tomlinson was right here from Waco.
Yes.
You know, he was he's originally from Marlin, you know, his original family. I actually went to school with his mother. We was classmates, but he was from Midway, so I recruited him out of Midway High School.
Yeah.
And played safety actually.
Oh,
So I really didn't see any corner film, you know, of him playing. I just kind of projection of how he moved and his quick in his short area quickness and his twitch. And so when I originally, showed him to Coach Patterson, he was like, you know, his size, you know, is immediately, but he could run and he can move. Wow. You know what I mean? He was very competitive. So, and you have a lot of guys from this area, you know, Quentin Johnston, who's from Temple, who's still performing now in the league, and Trey is too. But you know, we recruited, flipped him from Texas to TCU, and that was a good get for us.
Right.
And so this is Central Texas is a melting pot of athletes, and so just being back home here is something that I definitely want to help as many guys as I can.
Good.
You know?
Good. When you educate me a little bit, so if you recruit a guy like Trey who's played safety, what do you see in him, or how do you transform him into a corner? What are the qualities that you have to have?
Yeah, I think you kind of look for that competitive nature first.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And does the guy have natural coverability a little bit? You know, can he be sticky? You know, and how does he compete? You know, how does his short area quickness? Does he get in and out of his breaks? You know, how fast is he? How does he play the ball? Is he physical on the edges? Is he going to be a tackler, or is he going to be just willing to tackle? You know,
right.
Like, so there's a lot of qualities that you got to look for. But just right off the bat, you can tell, you know, if a guy can survive out on the island or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell pretty quick.
Is it a personality thing sometimes also?
There's personality as well, you know. Whenever because we evaluate 24/7, you know.
Right,
you might be evaluating, looking across the way, and the kid never know, but you always evaluating, and you could see different personalities. Say, he'd probably be a receiver inside of a corner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so,
that's what I was saying when I kind of relate it to a sprinter is you got to be a little almost cocky, you know?
Yeah,
you got to be very confident in your own abilities.
Yes, sir. You got to have supreme confidence, and that's what we call it in the room.
Yeah.
You know, call it supreme, not just confidence, but you got to have some supreme confidence in what you're doing and your abilities when you step on the line.
I like that.
Yes, sir.
That's cool. You said Curtis came through here this week or last week?
So this week, yeah.
This week,
and so it's pretty cool to have him to come back to Baylor, because he spent a lot of time here when he was in high school, you know, coming up and just doing rehabs and just being around. And so it's pretty cool for him to come up. And as soon as he came up, he saw the facility. He was like, wow, this doesn't look nothing like what I was used to seeing.
Things have changed, haven't they?
Things have changed quite a bit. And it's awesome to see, you know, the change that Baylor's had, you know, being right here from Marlin and, you know, being driving through quite consistently and seeing it, you know, it's just like, wow, it's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And he's an assistant with the Minnesota Vikings.
So he's a run game coordinator, running backs coach for the Vikings.
Great.
You know, he's probably been in the league. This is probably going on his 20th year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so.
You were with the Vikings.
Yes, sir.
Short stint. Were y'all there together?
Yes, sir, we were.
That's fine.
And so I went from TCU to 21. Then I went to the Minnesota Vikings in 22. Then I was fortunate enough to go to Rice in 23. So I've been there the past 3 seasons.
Gotcha. Good. And 2 bowl games the last 3 years at Rice. That's really good success.
Yes, sir. And, if you can win like that at Rice, it's pretty good. You know what I mean? Just great university, great kids. And Coach Bloomgren brought me in, Coach Scott Abel, who's now the current coach. Great dudes to work for. Unbelievable people in the building, so it was good.
Great. Coach Clanderman, new defensive coordinator here. Sir. You're on the defensive side. Is he the connection for you, or who on the staff here kind of got you here?
I knew of Coach Clanderman, but I didn't know him. I believe it was probably more so Coach Aranda.
Okay.
But being with Coach K, he's a great dude, man. I love working with him, love working for him, so. Good dude.
Very good. And then, of course, Coach Aranda with the defensive background that he has. It's like, your head coach and your defensive coordinator all in one there.
Yeah.
But then add Coach Clanderman to that. So great staff.
Yes, sir.
Great staff.
Unbelievable staff, unbelievable people in the building.
So spring practice about to begin. And do you find out about your group there, or how much do you know about who you have to work with right now?
You're just kind of learning them a little bit now, just trying to personality-wise a little bit, so, relationship-wise a little bit now. So as you get in spring ball, you start to know more about their athletic ability, and you kind of can see more what they can do, what they can't do. So I'm really looking forward to spring, and I think we got a really good group of guys in the room. They've been working their tails off all spring, and so hopefully the seeds that they've been sowing going to come to harvest for us in the fall.
Nice, very good. And this spring, I guess every year it is, but this spring seems like it's going to be really important for you guys, for everybody to get to know each other, and then to lay the foundation for the upcoming season. Yes,
sir, totally agree. And when I first got here, I thought Coach Aranda was doing an awesome job with that, because since I've been here, everything's been about culture. So from the early morning meetings where the coaches are in the locker room at 6:30 with the guys, just fellowshipping at the lockers, from the team meetings we have, we bringing in people to talk about culture, you know what I mean? And I think he's done a great job with that. And so I'm looking forward to what sees that sow, and I think, teams that are close, connected teams win.
Yeah.
Player-led teams win, and that's the goal. So
really nice.
Yeah.
So from Marlin, you've been to Waco a bunch through the years. You talked about how much Baylor's changed. Waco's changed a lot.
Waco has changed quite a bit.
Hasn't it?
Magnolia.
For the better. That's the Magnolia effect. It is.
A really good job.
Yeah. You can see the fingerprints of Magnolia all over. But it's grown, hasn't it?
It has grown, and it's beautiful to see.
Yeah.
It's beautiful to see.
A lot more restaurants.
Yeah, but I love a few of them. I'm still trying to find as many restaurants as possible right now too. So me and my wife, we're foodies, and we kind of like going out.
Nice. So. Very good. Your wife is Stephanie?
Stephanie, yes, sir.
And where'd y'all meet? Is she from here?
No, she's actually from Bartersville, Oklahoma. Okay. So I met her when I was in college.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
and
very
so
good.
It's been a long time ago if I'm dating myself, but I was fortunate enough to meet my best half of me, and she makes me better every day. So
good. Very cool. And one daughter, Solveig?
Solveig, yes, sir.
Explain where does Solveig come from?
So
the name.
It's from a French composer. It's Solveig's song. And so my wife wanted something different.
Yeah.
And that's, she was going through the process, or we were going through the process of, trying to see what name we wanted. That was just original name, never seen it, never heard of it before. And so, let alone Solveig doesn't like the name. She goes by, her name is Solveig Jewel.
Okay.
And so she does rodeo.
Oh.
And so you can only imagine announcers trying to say,
right.
Every time she's going. So Jewel is a lot easier.
She goes by Jewel.
So she kind of just goes by Jewel.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. So she's at a rodeo.
Yes, sir. Oh. She does barrels, and she does pole bending. She's pretty solid at it. I'm from Marlin, but I never rode a horse before.
Okay.
So I don't know where she gets it from. But she's very natural at doing it.
Right. What age is she, Solveig?
She's 17.
Okay,
so she'll be 18 here in May.
Great. We have an equestrian program here at Baylor,
and so she'll be coming. She'll be coming next week to tour.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So we, as coaches, we did like a tour of the campus, and I was just explaining to her how beautiful the campus was. And,
good.
So she wants to do a tour. So we'll see how that goes. We need to lock her in. Yeah. Yeah.
Very good. Well, spring is right around the corner. As we record this, spring practice begins next week, next Tuesday. and we talked about how important that is. What's the sense you get from Coach Aranda? You talked about the culture and how important that is, and the relationships. Is that the first thing and the main thing you get from Coach Aranda?
Yeah. But I think that's very important to him. You know, I think going 1-0 every day is important to you, and whatever you're doing. You know, I think being tough, smart, dependable is important to him. You know, and those are foundational things you got to have to win. Yeah. And so those are the things we're preaching. You know, those are things Coach Aranda been preaching, the staff we've been preaching, and the kids are buying in. You know, and I'm really looking forward to, like to say, the seeds that we're sowing right now to see the harvest that we get in the spring.
That's great.
And the fall.
Yeah, man, that's great. Well, great to have you here. I'm going to say
so
welcome
much.
home to Central Texas.
Thank you.
Great to have you on the Baylor staff. I look forward to working alongside you, but thanks for being with us on the Sic Em Podcast.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Jeremy Modkins, he's new on Coach Aranda's staff. He is the cornerbacks coach for the Bears going into this season. Appreciate Coach Modkins being with us on the Sic Em Podcast, presented by Harley Davidson of Waco.